is a rowdy bunch. I might need to go again. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Toronto's beautiful celebration, convocation, and changeover meeting. As you enjoy the fellowship for the next 10 minutes or so, we've got a whole bunch of people joining us virtually as well. So I'm going to ask Paula to play some of our slides. Enjoy the slides, enjoy the fellowships. I'm going to be back in about 9 minutes.
The Rotary Club of Toronto is one of the largest Rotary clubs in Canada and one of the oldest clubs in the world. You may have heard of us before or seen our logo around, but do you really know who we are and what we do? The Rotary Club of Toronto provides millions of dollars in funding each year to deserving organizations doing great work. We volunteer around town. We host events such as annual Christmas parties for senior citizens and physically challenged children. We work together with the public library to host workshops for low-income residents, or with the school boards to host a youth leadership expo. We spend a weekend at Camp Scugog every year fixing up the camp's facilities. We send Rotarians around the world on sweat equity trips to places like Malawi, Sri Lanka, El Salvador. The club hosts weekly Friday lunch meetings with fascinating speakers on a wide variety of topics. And of course, these weekly meetings, like all Rotary events, provide opportunities to network with the club's diverse membership, people coming from different walks of life, working in a wide swath of industries and professions. We're also about fun. We've got a ton of different social and fellowship events, meals and or drinks, attending local festivals, events, or shows. We do so much for so many. Come see what we can do for you or how you can join us in making a difference in your community.
The resolution for 2022 is to eat more sustainably. We'll be having 2 vegetarian days each week, eating locally when we can, and make sure to cut down on food waste.
My goal for this year is to learn a new language and experience and immerse myself in a new culture. Since we are all working from home, I'm hoping I will be able to do so from Mexico City.
I'm a COVID survivor. And my health is getting better. I look forward to continuing on that to achieve my weight loss goal, but as well as to be in better health in general.
Is that we all get back to Rotary, have our Friday meetings, and go to camp and do everything that we usually do.
It is a year of action. We proved that we can innovate, thrive, make greater impacts, and drink better wines.
Cheers!
Cheers.
With the generous support of the Rotary Club of Toronto, we were able to build a new outdoor flight cage, a new outdoor enclosure for sick and injured water birds.
For all
much for your support, as it goes a long way to supporting these youth in their academics and social connections.
So on behalf of Rosa and the 40 families who received the emergency kits, thank you so much, Rotary.
Reaching out to a club that is big in philanthropy and helping the community was something that I was missing during COVID, so I thought that I would join Rotary to help fill that gap.
I joined the Rotary Club for two main reasons. One was to be able to give back to the community and all the great charitable work that Rotary does, and the second reason was for fellowship.
I believe that Rotary will give the opportunity to help others and bring about some change and difference in life of people.
It's a kind of reopening the city. It's a wonderful moment, and it's the first time I'm taking part in Rotary in person.
What I like the most is feeling that I'm giving back to the community and I'm doing something meaningful about my life.
It's the friendship, it's meeting the different people in a wide experience.
For more information, follow the Rotary Club of Toronto to learn how together we can make a difference.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this very special meeting today. Today, it's a presidential changeover, and it is also a celebration and a convocation. And I'm thrilled to see so many of you here today, celebrating both in person as well as virtually. So, this is the Rotary Club of Toronto, and I am Prince Kumar, your club's president for one last day. All right, we're going to get started with our traditional lands and invocation and a playing of a very special national anthem, which I'll tell you a little bit about shortly. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge that we're on the traditional lands of many Indigenous peoples who have walked and cared for this land for 15,000 years. They include the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Huron-Wendat, and the treaty peoples of the Mississauga of the Credit. As we unite today in Rotary Fellowship to celebrate the passing of the office to a new president and board, let us be grateful for another successful year of giving service. As we go forward, help us to remember that unity makes us stronger and many hands working together makes the load lighter. May our gifts and talents be put to beneficial use in our community to serve others as we have been served. As we give thanks for a wonderful Rotary Club, let us also be grateful for this fellowship today. Thank you. Now, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had this opportunity to be at a beautiful reception, a garden party actually, at the Aga Khan Museum. And I connected with the Toronto Children's Chorus. And they were singing a heartfelt bilingual anthem. So naturally, I had to tell them about all of you fine folks. And they wanted to come here today. They couldn't. But what they did last week, and this is really, really, really heartwarming, they created a video, a special video just for you today. So I would like everyone virtually as well as in person to stand for the playing of this beautiful rendition of the national anthem by Toronto Children's Chorus. To service and to Rotary. Please be seated. Wasn't that beautiful? Amazing. It is now my pleasure to introduce the head table. Please stand when your name is called and remain standing until all on the head table have been introduced. Ron Dick, District Governor for 7070. Thank you, Ron, for your leadership. Yosef Siosa, incoming District Governor for 2022-2023. With his theme of We Have a Dream. David Daniels, Rotarian since 2022, member of our Charitable Ask Committee and is a sponsor of another new member. Don't you love it when a new member brings in another new member? That's amazing. Thank you, David. Elsie Morton, our final new member for 2021-2022. You'll hear about her more shortly. Dana Leahy, Director for Camp Skoogok for 35 years. And Dana, thank you for giving us the beautiful platform of bonding for Rotary. Rick Goldsmith, Rotarian since 1994, Chair of the Foundation Board and the President of the Rotary Club of Toronto Charitable Foundation. Thank you, Rick, for your collaboration. Dawn Marie King, Rotarian since 2014, outgoing club 2021-2022 board member and our talent handler for today, and my original transition team member. Dawn Marie, you got us all the way here. Thank you. John Fortney, Rotarian since 1999. John is a club past president 2020-2021. And I hear John is going to be giving me some words of wisdom pretty soon for my upcoming retirement, I hear. Jayson Phelps, Rotarian since 2003. Jayson is the incoming president who's about to have a whole new portfolio. And Jay, I'm excited for you. Rotarians and guests, our head table. Please be seated. Now, this is a packed house. In fact, so packed, I was talking to Bill Marari, the general manager of the National Club, who's also a member here. And he said he hasn't had this many members in, I believe, the last couple of years now because, of course, of COVID, but even with the new functions. So I'm not going to go and introduce all the guests. However, I do want to thank my family, and I see some of them on screen that have come in from all over the world. My sister and my nieces from Santa Fe, my cousins and sister from New York, my brother from Germany, another cousin from Singapore, and again, my cousins from Delhi. I see you guys. Thank you. Thank you for joining in. I have to remember it's midnight in Singapore right now. So thank you again. And again, too many visiting Rotarians, but I do want to mention we've got Jayson Alfonso from Altamonte Springs, Florida. Also, we've got folks joining online from Tanzania. We've got Rotarians from Uxbridge and the Caribbean joining us today. So I hope you all enjoy our meeting. To our guests, you will see a phenomenal Rotary story today if you haven't seen it before. And I'll tell you this, by the end of the meeting, you are going to want to join. And when you go on that website and click on that join button, and when that member engagement committee calls you, you're going to wonder why you didn't do this before. Just look at the diversity around the table. Just look at the people and the smiles around the table. Speaking of diversity, what's amazing is we have the co-chair for a few more days, co-chair of our member engagement committee, Donna Jones. And I have to have a special mention here because we have amongst us a Canadian pioneer in diversity and multiculturalism right here today, Honourable Dr. Jean Augustine. We're honored to have you here. Rotarians, please welcome our visiting Rotarians and guests in the tradition of our club. Now for the virtual folks, if your cameras are turned on, and you probably want your cameras to be turned on, but remember, if they're turned on, this meeting is being recorded. Parts and bits of it will be showcased, likely on social media. If you do not want to be showcased, simply turn your camera off. Time to time, you will be up here on the big screen as well. Now, I do have another announcement, and that is Pride Parade is back on, and our club and our district is marching. That is this Sunday. So I'm still not done. Apparently this year I still have a couple more events to go to. Pride Parade starts at 1 p.m. and we do need marchers. We've got spots for 100 people to go on that parade. And I think we're getting there, but we still have room. So 1 p.m., go on to Linktree/Rotary Toronto, you know where, sign up, and we're gonna have, look at these lovely banners that the team has printed for Pride and for so many other marches. We're gonna have them up there in the march as well. Now, about a year ago, when I was giving my throne speech, I went a little deep. I went a little personal. And some of you will remember that. Some who weren't at the throne speech, and most weren't because there's a lot of guests today, won't remember that. So I'll touch on it today because I want to touch on where that journey has gone as of this year and how Rotary has been instrumental in that journey. It was a few years ago when my dad, who was a man of service, was assassinated. My brother, who succumbed to leukemia, and my mom had a heart attack. The Rotarians in our club know this. I talked about it last year. It was a very difficult time for me. It was a very difficult time for my family as well. And I was broken. It was interesting. Rotary came in at that time in my life, and Rotary helped to heal me. I started forming purposes. I started forming passions. I started forming an understanding of what life is really all about. In my dad's honor, I created a journey called Quest for Peace. In my mom's name, I created something called Ever Learning, Ever Growing. And my brother, who was always an enabler, I created something called Enable and Empower to Achieve. The reason I'm telling you this today is because if I reflect back on this year, you all unknowingly have helped me in those journeys. You will see it today, the impact we have made in the communities and how you've helped create peace in the world, how you've helped with education, how you've helped with growth, how you've helped enable people, whether they were homeless, whether they were struggling with pandemics, how you, as members and as volunteers of various different organizations that are here today with us as community partners, helped in those journeys. So I hope in some small way, Rotary has been helping you in your journeys as well. Today, we're going to celebrate those journeys. We're going to celebrate that impact because it is through those journeys that legacy continues. Everyone in this room has their own journey, has their own path where they're going. And impact is what brings us together. Collectiveness, unity is what brings us together. So our program today, I do want to introduce Andy and Adrian, our MCs of the day. Andy and Adrian, if you guys can wave, stand, do your thing. You wouldn't know it, but they're actually new members. But I have to tell you that the number of projects that they've probably done more projects than some existing members. So well done. And I also hear they've got 4 door prizes for you today, including if you stick around till after yes, there is dancing. There's DJ Gary in the house. If you stick around till about the end of the show, I hear there's a private boat tour as well for a couple of hours at the Toronto Harbor. You know, I talked about my 3 journeys and where Rotary has come in terms of community impact. And when I discuss community impact, not just in Rotary, but outside, people are always looking at that same thing, especially now that we've gone through COVID, we've gone through those obstacles. People are looking at how can we lend a helping hand. I had the pleasure in recent functions in 3 of them actually, to meet the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. So I started talking with Her Honor, the Honourable Elizabeth Dowdeswell, about what our club is doing. And she actually wanted to be here today. There is something, a little thing called swearing in of the government that kept her busy today. I think that's happening around the same time. However, she has a message for you.
Hello everyone, bonjour, bonjour. I'm delighted to bring warm greetings to the illustrious and storied Rotary Club number 55. I understand that back in the early 20th century, the original Rotary Club got its name from the practice of rotating meetings from one member's office to the next. So it's amazing to think how, during lockdown, meetings were held in everyone's offices at once, or effectively everyone's homes. What a time of separation and connection too. Together during the COVID-19 pandemic, you supplied the resources and the help people needed at a time of intense isolation. From personal protective equipment for shelter residents, to grocery cards for people with food insecurity, to check-in phone calls for seniors alone at home. You worked to ensure others could be connected within the community. Now that we reopen with caution and with care, we have an unmissable opportunity to build the foundation of empathy and compassion that you as volunteers have helped to establish. To bring about a more equal and inclusive society. As an eternal optimist, I take heart from the knowledge that so many of you have made the commitment to Convocate today. You recognize what needs to be done and how your efforts can make a difference, both here and beyond our borders. It's wonderful that the 110th anniversary of this club coincides with Her Majesty the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. May you be inspired by Her Majesty's statement earlier this year when she said, "It's given me pleasure to renew the promise I made in 1947 that my life will always be devoted in service." As Lieutenant Governor, I offer all Toronto Rotarians, veterans and newcomers, my deep gratitude for your service above self, for the work that you've done and continue to do to address the challenges and crises that we face. Thank you as well to Rotary's partnering charities for your dedication and important work. You demonstrate the cooperation and collaboration that we need to become truly resilient. My thanks to outgoing President Kumar for your steadfast leadership in such a turbulent time, and my best wishes to incoming President Phelps and your team. I wish you all a most enjoyable afternoon. Thank you, merci, and miigwech.
Thank you, Your Honor. You saw her, she touched on some of the impact statements. She touched on a couple of things that our club had done. And it's traditional during changeover for the outgoing president to talk about some of the impacts and to thank the committees in the work that they've done. But I really had to do some research because you all had so many projects. I wonder if anyone knows how many projects and community partners we worked with this year. Any guesses? A number? I hear 30, 55. Well, you'll hear it after this presentation. So what I did was I reached out to some of the community partners and I asked them, what did they think? Let's hear from them directly.
Thank you, Rotary Toronto.
Thank you, Rotary Toronto.
Thank you, Rotary
support you've shown to Homes First, whether it's through grant support, letters support, volunteer support, monetary donations, collaboration on our projects like our microgreens project. You guys have really believed in the Homes First mission and been such an amazing collaborator and partner over the years.
From all of us at Shelterbox, thank you. Together, we are changing lives around the world. This year alone, your support has made such a difference in Haiti, in the Philippines, and Ukraine. Thank you.
Proud to honor and recognize Toronto Rotary Club for packaging almost 54,000 meals over 3 packaging events. Together with Rotary across Canada, that has contributed over 1 million meals to feed the less fortunate both domestically and overseas. We couldn't have done it without your help. Thanks and God bless.
Dolly Parton's Imagination Library of Canada would like to thank the Rotary Club of Toronto for their ongoing support of Native, Child and Family Services of Toronto's Imagination Library program. With your help, you've been able to continue to get more books into the hands of more children. Shimagwetch!
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you, the members of the Rotary Club of Toronto, in partnering with us in helping the marginalized community of the Zebbaline, the garbage collectors of Egypt, with education and literacy. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Rotary Club of Toronto. Your generous donation has enabled Sprint Senior Care to purchase 16 vehicles to support the Toronto Ride program. With this donation, we've been able to provide vulnerable seniors with transportation that is safe, affordable, and accessible. Thank you.
We want to send a huge thank you to all of the members of the Rotary Club of Toronto for supporting our anti-bullying, mental health awareness, and LGBTQ2S+ visibility programs for youth this year. Thank you so much for helping us make the world a kinder and more inclusive place.
Congratulations on another successful year of collaboration and service, Rotary Club of Toronto. And thank you so much for your immediate and generous support of disaster relief in Uxbridge. You set the stage for so many other Rotary clubs to help, and we really couldn't have done it without you.
Despite unprecedented times throughout a worldwide pandemic, the Rotary Club of Toronto shone a bright light of hope on the Progress Place mental health community by donating food hampers over the holiday season that fed over 500 members. Heartfelt thanks for your unwavering support.
YWCA Toronto is extremely grateful to the Rotary Club of Toronto and its generous members for your incredible help with food catering costs for our shelter residents while our kitchen was under renovation. Thank you.
Hey everybody, on behalf of our team at Good to Be Good, I'd like to thank the Rotary Club of Toronto for their incredible support and generosity in our upcoming programming this year.
Thanks to Rotarians, 30,000 KN95 masks were distributed to drop-ins and shelters this past winter. Rotarians stepped in, but more importantly, some politely worded emails from John Andrews to the city manager led to a decision to supply them. 300,000 were ordered, and the province was encouraged to step up as well. So thanks, Rotarians. You saved lives.
Wow. You see that? 80, not 30, not 55, 80 just this year, organizations and projects that we partner with. Some take months to do. Some can even take years to do and develop. That's all you. That's everyone in this room collectively. And when I sent that email out to just a few, every single organization that I sent an email to responded back to say, hey, can we be part of the video montage? I said, I don't know if we can fit you in. Because I was thinking, usual surveys or what have you, you'll get a 30% response rate. But no, 100%. Every single organization that I sent an email to responded back and said, they either want to be here today or they want to tell you. Thank you. So let me tell you how that works in Rotary. Our club has got three elements. It's got people that want to come in and have ideas that they want to do something about it. And those ideas get generated into proposals. Those are our working groups. None of this will happen if our working groups weren't out there making this happen. We have 4 key working groups today that are cause-based: diversity, equity, inclusion, environment. What am I forgetting? Speak up, speak up. Seniors is coming up. Who else? Indigenous, what is it called? Indigenous Partnership Working Group. You got it, absolutely. And we're looking for 4 more. So remember those journeys that I talked about in the beginning? They were my personal journeys. What are your personal journeys? What are the journeys that you want to do something about, your causes? Let's bring them up and let's do something about that. Imagine if we just do what we did here with 4 working groups and 3 committees. Imagine what we can do today with the number of members that we have. And we'll get into the membership later. So thank you to every single one of those working groups that were out there looking for projects. So the projects come in. And then the second piece is the projects need to be evaluated. So there's another group of committees that sit down and really do the due diligence, arm's length due diligence, and say, is this the right project to work on? Not all projects get approved. Some we go back to the partners. Some there's lots of sweat equity involved in. Others, it might just be funding. And we've got multiple committees, both on the club and the foundation side, that look after that. We've got research and appeals on the foundation side that recommends these projects to the foundation board. We've got community outreach in our club side. We've got charitable asks. We've got events. They all look after various different types of projects. I want to thank each and every single Rotarian that has been part of that working group, any of those working groups, and each and every single Rotarian that has been part of one of those committees that I just named. If you were part of that working group or one of those committees, please stand up. Were you part of a working group, charitable ask, community outreach, research and appeals? Were you part of Indigenous Partnership Working Group? Were you part of seniors? Please stand up. Don't feel shy. Oh, now here we go. Look at that. Thank you, thank you, thank you to each and every one of you. This brings me to our first door prize. The door prize, it is a bottle of wine, hand selected by our very own Jeffrey Johnson from Honourable. From a very fine wine collections, it is the Taurus Cab Sauv, a Napa Valley 2017. But before I get into that, I also should thank Daniel Speck, because if you don't know who Daniel Speck is, he's the co-owner of Henry of Felm, and he's the one who sponsored your first glass of wine today. So thank you, Daniel. So I've got my MCs around the room, and they're going to be looking out for the answers, because that first door prize goes out to someone who can guess that answer. But before I do that, I hear an envelope coming. So our envelope walker for today is an aspiring Canadian diplomat and Miss Intercontinental Canada 2022, Rachel. How are you? So Rachel, before we open this envelope, I guess we should tell them what the question is and what this envelope really contains an answer for, and if they're going to actually win that door prize. So, well, let's open it. What do you think? Should we open it? Let's open it. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, it's beautifully packed. Wow. What could be inside this envelope? Oh, wow. Full year's impact. Okay. So here's what the envelope says. After delivering upon 8 streams of grouped initiatives in our strategic roadmap, including implementing a transformational club structure with our transition team, last year in June 2021, the club board approved a vision 2023. And that vision is up on our website. Would you like to read that vision, Rachel? You can come close to the mic.
Be the organization of choice to fulfill one's philanthropic and fellowship goals by achieving, along with our partners, a community impact of at least $2 million.
So, any guesses of what our actual community impact was for 2021, 2022? The closest first guess that Adrian and Andy can hear gets the first door prize. Speak up. Wow, that's a big ring. Oh, we heard someone who was close. All right, all right. Our community impacts in 2021, 2022, alone with the club foundation and all our community partners, was $4,418,000. Wow! We wanted to get to 2 million by 2023. We're at 4.4 now. That is all of you guys. A standing ovation for every single person in this room. So Rachel, what do you think? Do we have a winner? Oh, we have a winner! Come on over, Christina. Next up, oh, looks like we've got another envelope coming up. This time, it's not a prize. We talked about our community impacts. We talked about various different organizations that have helped create that community impact. But there's one organization in particular that really took our heart away. And we thought it would be appropriate to bring them up for a final impact report. So for that, I'd like to call upon Andy and Rachel again for a second envelope.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is wonderful, Rachel. So we're going to look at our final impact reporter for this afternoon. And what do we have in the envelope, Rachel?
Every week, the Rotary Club of Toronto highlights one of the organizations it has partnered with to make an impact in the community and asks the organization to present an impact report. Given today's special celebratory meeting, we decided to highlight Camp Scugog, where Rotarians formed some deep bond in fellowship and service. Camp Scugog is one of the oldest camps in Canada, and the camp has been offering incredible programs to young children, youth, and mothers affected by poverty since 1931.
Now, who do we think it is? Dana, how are you? Dana has been the director of Camp Scugog for more than 35 years.
45 years.
45 years.
Now you're supposed to say,
wow. As a youngster, she spent her summers at Camp Okontu, which ignited her lifelong devotion to camping. Camp Scugog has proved to be the perfect career, marrying two of her great passions, social justice and children's camping. Dana has dedicated much of her life to working with marginalized populations, starting with her work in group home and as a member of the board of Maggie's Resource Center, and now she's at Camp Scugog. As a camp director, Dana is responsible for overseeing summer camp programs and the year-round leadership program. Outside of camping, Dana is passionate about her family, friends, and building and maintaining her small homestead in rural Ontario, where she is also a member of the local quilting club. Presenting Dana Leahy, Camp Director, and our final impact reporter for 2021-2022. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for being part of our lives. My name is Dana. I just got introduced. I don't have to say all this again, I guess, but I am the camp director of a nonprofit camp that serves people that are marginalized, mothers and children, youth at risk. Those are all the population that we serve in the summer. We have been, in fact, running Camp Scugog, not me personally. Camp Scugog has been here since 1912 was the first records we can find of having campers. So we've been around a long time. We run a youth program during the year, part of our leadership program, and we run programs for our mothers and youth during the year also. The impact that you have had on us is beyond describable. When you walked into our lives, or we walked into yours, or however this happened, it was meant to be. We were falling apart at the seams, and apparently you needed somebody's seams to stitch. So here we were. When you first came to us about 20 years ago, I clearly remember your group coming to our dining hall. You were looking for a camp to be at. And I don't know who said it. Somebody from behind me said, "We can't cook for 100 people in here." And my quip was, "Oh, we serve 150 3 times a day." And somebody behind me, one of your fine cooks, said, "Challenge accepted." It wasn't how I intended it, but here we are. From the moment you guys walked in, life has changed for us. We are able to give more programming. You fixed our kitchen, which really you weren't able to cook for 100, but you bought a nice barbecue and made it through the summer. We have a gorgeous dining hall. We have a leadership program that runs all year long and that we're able to use the farmhouse. The impact that you have had on us is beyond measurable. The latest thing that just happened was that pandemic hit, and like all of us, we kind of went, what are we doing? Where are we going? And Trillium had a resiliency grant for $150,000 to apply for. And we thought, yeah, we could do that. So we applied for it to renovate our farmhouse, finish it up. You guys had done most of the renovating, but some insulated need to happen. And the windows in the place were still the old river glass. So when you looked outside, everything was a little wavy, doesn't hold the cold air out much. So with that $150,000, we thought, great, we're going to start this nature school, use our program. Part of it was to get a furnace of some sort in the farmhouse. And then we started going, well, but what's going to happen in 10 years, in 50 years, if we're just burning gas in our farmhouse? Let's do geothermal. Well, geothermal's a lot of money. But as usual, you guys stepped up, gave us $50,000. We now have geothermal in our farmhouse. The windows are all redone. It is fully insulated. And as we stripped away the house, we found, I think I watched too much late TV at night in those home rental shows where there's always a disaster when you take everything off. And I kept waiting for the disaster to happen. And it didn't. Under the old things that we stripped off in the farmhouse, we found an 1800s year-old farmhouse that is built solid. So our programming is going to be there 100 years from now. Your impact will still have an impact on us. So this is our gorgeous farmhouse. And 100 years from now, somebody's going to be standing up here saying, this is what we're still doing because of what you've done for us. So I and every person that comes through our doors this summer, thanks you.
Thank you again, Dana. As we talk about that impact, a quick item that I did want to cover. We got to this 4.4 million community impact, but how is that measured? What is that exactly? That's money that we spent, but that's also leveraging that we did when we went out there in communities and we said, give us funds to partner with. When we said, give us things, give us in kind to partner with. You heard about that with Kathy Crow. Our $4,500 in partnership with the city turned into $600,000. You remember with the bequeath, the third element that really drives our impact forward is legacy giving. So if you ever think about that legacy giving, remember our doors are open. We had got a bequeath this year. Our club and our foundation worked on it, $800,000. Then in partnership with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, we converted that to $2.4 million. So remember those three things, the work that you do in working groups, the work that you do in committees, then going out there, talking about that work to leverage it and letting people know that we are open for business when it comes to legacy giving. So before I get into my next aspect, I've got a little special presentation, and I think I have another envelope coming up for that. It's titled Special Presentation. Let's open it up. Let's see what's in there. Oh, it's titled Top Secret for Your Eyes Only. Look at your phone, you've got a message. All right. These clever honors and awards committee members. The honors and awards committee, chaired by typically our president-elect, gets together and talks about which awards to give and which honors to give. Today, I want to share with you about a very special award. This award is given typically once in a few years, maybe once in a decade. In my last 10 years, I think I've maybe seen it once been given before in Rotary. It's the Distinguished Service Award. This award is only very occasionally given to honor a member for their outstanding contribution to the work and development of the club. To be eligible, the winner must be a William Peace Award recipient, which in itself can take years and years and years. And it is only presented to someone who goes above and beyond the call of duty in the name of service to the Rotary Club of Toronto and to our communities. And they recognize those three things that I talked about earlier: legacy, they recognize leverage, they recognize giving. Well, this individual has been involved in many things. They have actually had, obviously, a Paul Harris Fellow, a William Peace Award recipient. They joined our club a few decades ago. They have been a chair of multiple committees, investment committee, membership, program. Am I getting close? They've also been a chair of research and appeals. They've been on the club board. They've been on the foundation board. Am I getting closer? They've been a liaison director to many, many, many committees. They really recognize the things that we talked about today. They've been involved with the St. Michael's Hospital, with Sprint Seniors Care, and many other large foundation and club projects. They have also been instrumental, really instrumental, in what we talked about today, Camp Skoogog. At camp, we like to refer this individual as the boss. If I can get our latest, I believe close to almost a decade later, Distinguished Service Award recipient, past president of the club and past president of the foundation, Susan Housen.
I'm overwhelmed. It's not often that happens. As Prince can attest, I will just say anything and everything. Thank you very much. I guess all I can say is that I hope you all turn up at camp next year. It's obviously a good starting point to get to this stage. And I mean, I'm a third generation Rotary. My grandfather helped start the club, and I really truly believe that being part of this club gives you everything that you could ever want: fellowship, being able to give back to your community, and lots of friends. Thank you.
I'd like to pass things on to our MC, Adrian.
Thank you, President Prince. Good afternoon, everyone. You all look very lovely today, if no one's mentioned that before. I think I'm also waiting for an envelope, but while that envelope makes its way, today I'll be sharing with you the award winners for the past year. And I would love that envelope. It's okay. Thank you so much. We're making her work very hard today. So before we announce the award winners, I'd like to invite President Prince and the chair of our foundation board and president of our charitable foundation, Rick Goldsmith. Could you please join me on the stage to congratulate our 2021 to 2022 award recipients. For the award recipients, as your name is called, we ask you to come towards the red carpet, Oscar stage, to be congratulated and recognized for your stellar contributions to the club and to the community. We ask you to remain on stage till all recipients have been called for a joint recognition and group photo. Okay, are we all excited? I'm excited. Okay, so our Rotary Warriors, and I use the word warrior in every sense, for 2021 to 2022, have been selected for going above and beyond in the service above self. We speak a lot about the Rotary mission and the impact in our community, but what is central to that is the service above self, giving more than you give to yourself, giving to the community as a whole. So joining us virtually is the renowned Andrew St. John, who will not be joining us on the stage, but he is here with us virtually. Andrew took over as the lead for our technology team. and he has gone above and beyond in facilitating our hybrid meetings. He has helped members like me with technology issues, and he has championed numerous tech-related projects for the club. Even today, while being out of town, I believe he's in Hawaii, but I'm not sure. He's virtually helping with the running of the hybrid component of our meeting. Thank you so much, Andrew. And now for our Rotary Warriors who are not in Hawaii and are joining us here in person. First off, we have Mitra Gudzari. On a weekly basis, Mitra organized our How We Hobby segments. She in fact named the segment as well and came up with the concept. She has brought fellowship, and my mother is calling me. Oh no, it's duct cleaning, and I don't need that. She has brought fellowship, and she's allowed us to get to know each other much more. From tango to Jamaican cooking to workouts, we learned so much, Mitra. Thank you so much. Next up, we have the fantastically famous Donna Jones-Simmons. Donna is the co-chair of our member engagement committee. Have you seen the numbers lately? They should just not be 1, 2, 3, they should just be Donna, Donna, Donna. Our net new member numbers are higher than they've ever been in decades. Donna has tirelessly reached out to over 100 potential members this year, walking them through the Rotary process, and I know, the texts, the messages, she didn't let me run away. And Donna has established the foundation for the coming years of member engagement. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Christina McMillan, our lead for the Rotary Minute video. These videos are mini full productions. In a minute or so, they tell many stories that help inspire with a smile and empower to act. These are our stories, stories of friendships, philanthropy, community leadership, integrity, and inclusion. Christina directed and produced 16 Rotary Minute videos, a concept we started this year. Robert O'Brien. A past president, Robert has given so much to the club. Along with members in the program committee, Robert continues to tirelessly work on getting some of the best and thought-provoking speakers to our club. Some of the names he hosted include Peter Mansbridge, Federal Deputy Minister Rob Wright, polio eradication, a special luncheon with past Rotary International President recognizing the $2.4 million impact, Robert Baines for Ukraine and Canada, and Nathan Titridge for the Platinum Jubilee.
And next we have the lovely Paula Shepherd. We can clap for Paula, it's okay. On a weekly basis, working behind the scenes on our videos, slides, and technology, including when she was in Barbados, Paula is now on our tech table running this meeting. Well, now she's standing in front of you, but before she was at the tech table running the meeting. And this is apart from her service in international service and as a researcher in RNA. Thank you, Paula, for your contribution. Next, we have Dawn Marie King, who we all know and love. Dawn Marie, also known as the Volunteer Queen, did you know that we moved offices after 92 years this year? And this required a mammoth amount of coordination that we could not have achieved without Dawn Marie's organizational skills. True to her title of Volunteer Queen, she's also our talent handler for today. Thank you so much, Dawn. Now we move on to our Club Build Award recipients for 2021-2022. This award is awarded to those who have exemplified the values of the 4-way test in all aspects of their lives. Our two recipients are John Joseph Mastandrea, chair of our International Service Committee, who is engaged, unfortunately, or fortunately for them, hosting another Pride event today. And with us in person our incoming president-elect, Annie Sandra Mel. Thank you so much for being with us. And we all love children, so let's talk about our 5 Sapphire, Paul Harris, and William Peace Award recipients today. Lori Braceman. This award is given for the highest level of service over a number of years and for outstanding contributions. Thank you so much. And finally, I would like to call on our newest recipient, Susan Housen, our Distinguished Service Award recipient, to join the other award winners on the stage.
I think I forgot something.
Oh, did you?
I might have.
Was it the bell?
Well, I like the photo, but something's missing.
Ah, tell us what.
Well, there's a spot that's missing there. And typically, we recognize Rotarians, and you see wonderful Rotarians here on the red carpet Oscar stage. But today, I'm going to take up presidential privilege and go a little different. And we're going to recognize a non-Rotarian. Someone who's been helping our club for years. Someone this year. In fact, even today, they're helping out. This individual has got their master's in design. This individual, if you see our social media, you think it's the Marcom committee? No. They've got a golden gem in that committee, and that individual is not a Rotarian, at least yet. They continue to develop some amazing graphics throughout the year, and you've seen what's happened to our social media. In fact, they're volunteering here today as our official photographer. Venita D'Souza of Fonville, you are our latest Rotary warrior. Come on up to the stage.
Continuing on, we have a very special presentation for you today in honor of President Prince and for the very challenging yet productive year we've had in the last 2021 to 2022. Today we have a very special group of Bhangra dancers here to perform for you today. Bhangra is a dance that hails from the Punjab region. It's normally during the Harvest Festival. And this year we have harvested many memories of the challenging year past. We're also planting the seeds for a wonderful Rotary year to come. So please join me in welcoming our group of Bhangra dancers who will perform for you today. And I didn't mention it before, but there is a secret door prize that I didn't announce. So, because that was such a, and this is going to be corny, so brace yourself. Since that was such a sweet performance, we would like to give a door prize that is a delicious collection of champagne truffles. There's no champagne with it, but there's champagne in it. So the performance was supposed to inspire you. I saw some shaking, I saw some nodding. I didn't see the level of getting up and dancing I thought I would, but there was one special person that not only gave me head shaking, she gave me shoulders too. And I'd like to invite Pauline Lyons to come up and receive the door prize for Best Bhangra Performance by Rotary. And now I'd like to pass the mic over to President Prince again.
Thank you, Adrian. In my continuation of thanks, you know, I talked about impact. I talked about that second journey where we go out there and create impact, but also we need awareness. And what better way to create awareness, but right here in National Club, using this platform to invite all of you in our Friday lunches. So our program committee has been doing just that. Imagine every Friday. I mean, this was a lot of work and there was a whole committee behind to put this together. Imagine doing this every single Friday. That's quite spectacular. You might even say it's stellar. Well, that is our program committee. And you already heard when Robert was introduced as a Rotary warrior, some examples of people that we have been able to bring in this year. And with co-chairs like Neil and Melanie, it has really been quite something. So if you're in the program committee, I would like you to stand. I know Neil is joining us virtually. I'd like you to stand and be recognized. And thank you for everything that you do in putting this on every single Friday. Program committee. Thank you. So one of the people actually the program committee invited last year is right here with us, and that is District Governor Ron Dick. Ron, would you like to come up and say a few words?
Thanks, President Prince. President Prince, fellow Rotarians, guests, thank you very much for the invite to be here with you today for your celebration. I want to start by adding my congratulations to the boss, Susan Howson. Distinguished Service Award. I heard all about Camp Scugog from Michelle Guy, and I'm so jealous that you got a great project in my own backyard. Thank you for sponsoring our Rotary Club in Oshawa. We unfortunately couldn't have our 100th celebration because of COVID, and we do look forward to putting something else on, probably to coincide with the Oshawa City 100th anniversary in a year and a half, and we'd love to have you out to celebrate with us. Thank you also for being one of 6 Rotary clubs to sponsor the Kiev Rotary Club for the birth of Rotary in Ukraine 30 years ago. It's one thing to help sponsor a new club around the corner, but for one of your members to go to the Ukraine and stay there for the month in your rotation with the other Rotary clubs to help them form up is quite a commitment, and I can't begin to say thank you enough again. At the district, we couldn't get things done if it wasn't for you folks. You really do have a place at the table in many of our committees, and I hope I don't miss anybody, but Prince Kumar, your president, is working on our strategic plan that will be going into to replace the one that's ending this year. Susan Hunter running the Rotary Leadership Institute and having to transition it to an online format. Kevin Power, who looks after our Rotary Scholars. Michelle Guy and Jayson Phelps working on the Imagine Tour for the July 5th visit of Jennifer Jones. Maureen Bird, who chairs our maternal health and one of our action groups for us at the district. Bill Empey, our HIP coordinator. Where are you, Bill? I see you back there. And I know we got Chris Snyder on the screen and we got John Andrus on the screen, board members. And I believe, Chris, you were the founder or one of the founders of HIP. So thank you for your leadership on such an important positive plank on our journey with truth and reconciliation. And Jay Lawbay. I'd be remiss if I didn't say Jay. He's got that boring job of an assistant governor, and he's out there in the trenches grinding for us, and we couldn't do it without each and every one of you helping us at the district. So thank you. I want to thank you for the long history that you have in international service, but you really raised the bar this year in challenging the other clubs of the district to contribute to Shelter Box and to the St. Vincent Project. Keep up the good work and the leadership. Thank you for allowing me to join you for the memory tree. Thank you for what you do for each other. And Prince and Toronto Rotary Club, congratulations on another great year. Jayson, I know you're in for one next year. Thank you.
The next segment is really very special to me, and that is our class of 2022. And we have one more to add today. So I'd like to call upon David Daniels to introduce our newest member.
Hi. Well, I'd like to introduce Elsie Morden. Elsie Morden, she, her, is a 26-year-old Canadian country artist and social activist. The singer-songwriter moved to Toronto this year from Halifax, Nova Scotia, and she has achieved a top 100 song on Canadian country radio and has over 650,000 streams on Spotify. Elsie is currently working on her next release and a second full-length album. In addition to music, Elsie is a national ambassador for Kids Help Phone and the founder of registered Canadian charity No Time for That. She has delivered over 650 keynotes across Canada, speaking about bullying prevention, mental health awareness, neurodiversity awareness, 2SLGBTQIA+ visibility, and youth empowerment, directly impacting over 150,000 students. In 2020, she was one of Atlantic Canada's top 30 under 30 determined by Atlantic Business Magazine, and the Rotary Club of Wolfville Mud Creek presented Elsie with the Honorary Rotarian Award in recognition of the impact she has made nationally. And I present to you, Elsie. Do you want to say a few words?
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Elsie. It's so nice to meet you, and I'm so honored to be here. Growing up for me was really tough. I struggled a lot with being bullied. I struggled with my mental health. As a creative queer kid with ADHD growing up in small towns across Canada, I always felt like an outsider. And when I got to the end of high school, was in a really dark time, and I was kind of faced between, do I want to be around anymore, or am I going to do something about this? I didn't want anybody else to feel alone, hurt, and misunderstood like I did. And in my grade 12 year of high school, I vowed that I would spend the rest of my life ensuring exactly that. I had a dream that I could be the inspiration to other people that I felt like I didn't have. I had a dream that I could make the world a kinder and more inclusive place. It only takes one person, and there are so many people in this room, and I'm excited to do exactly that, make the world a kinder and more inclusive place. With all of you, thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be a part of your club. Thank you.
Stay. Yeah, you know, I think I was really moved, Elsie, with your talk there. And President-elect, soon to be president, had mentioned to us that, you can't just let new members in. I mean, I think we got to have tests. And as my last act of president, I've heard so much about your bio, Elsie. You guys are lucky. I didn't start this earlier. Who knows? Jayson might carry on with this.
It's normal. Yes. Okay.
The National Club has been so kind to bring a mic. Now, you have to know, when I interviewed her, I found out that Elsie has a huge, giant following. She's a mega star. So we said, we can't just bring a mic. We got to bring a guitar. Let's see if we're gonna let her in the club or not.
Is there a guitar pick?
I don't know.
Yeah, there is right there, actually.
This one? Oh, there we go.
There's a guitar pick, okay. Okay. We got this.
She's a professional.
Thank you for having me perform. A lovely surprise. I think we're gonna continue on with this dancing theme. There is a lovely dance move right here. This is a song that I wrote dancing. I have to say, right? Or keep going there. Oh my God, the crowd doesn't stand up. The lady says, keep moving your feet. Turn down one to dance. The stage says, the stage says, the dance sounds coming on that.
I think we can let her in. What do you think? I think we've got another envelope. Jeffrey and,
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to know I'm here because Michael Caine was really busy today. This is an Oscar thing, right? If anybody can see Will Smith here, please let me know immediately. Now, I'd like to invite President Prince and District Governor Ron Dick to the stage to preside over the class of 2022 Convocation ceremony. Now, in these hats, these little boxes, there's a limited edition 3-star commemorative pin for our class of 2022. This, Prince wrote this. I'm doing my best. This may be the subject of envy for many years to come, along with a succulent champagne spelt wrong, truffle for you to enjoy. The 3 stars represent the 3 major successes of our club that our new members of the class of 2022 have directly helped in their contributions. And number 1, our massive community impact that these guys have started off as active new Rotarians. Our incredible, our beautiful diversity. This really impacts to me like 25 years ago. It was grey-haired old men, and now we've got gorgeous people. I think this is wonderful. Our growth, our net new membership is higher than we've ever had in at least the last couple of decades. Now, as your name is called, please walk towards the red carpet. Our Oscar stage for your convocation ceremony, big ceremony. and remain on the stage until all recipients have been called and a joint welcome for our group photograph. Now, first of all, Rachel we're going to do this alternatively, and I've worked it out that Rachel gets all the difficult names and I get John Smith's and Brian Jones. So, Rachel.
Our first is Tony Akinlayi.
Welcome, Tony. And number 2, Mona Al-Sharari.
Probir Chandra Chatterjee.
And here's my first difficult one, David Daniels.
Alan Gibney.
Kelsey Horning.
Angel Kabongo Meba.
Returning new member, Gloria Lee. Welcome home.
Maud Masiwa.
Elsie Morgan.
Jeff Pollock.
Adrian Rios.
Shannon Talbot.
Andy Vederman.
Get organized to take your group shot, I'll read out the names of the new members who are joining us virtually. Kwame Ahiabinu. Abigail Brown. Israel Karen. Jake Tran. Dolly Vecchiarelli. Wally Zia. Anissa Nazir. Michael Sharp. Kirsty Spencer. And another returning new member, Derek Metty.
So we have yet another wonderful door prize. This again is a lovely bottle of wine, and as Prince mentioned, it is from the Napa Valley. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon. And I can't find my notes, and here we go. It's a Tyrus Cabernet Sauvignon 2017, and what you will notice is on the label is the Roman god Bacchus, who is the god of agriculture, wine, and fertility. So the winner gets to choose one of those and engage in it at their will. So Andy will now tell you how you can win this.
All right, so this is the fun part, everybody, and we're gonna play a little game of trivia. Everybody ready for trivia? Good, good, good. Now, here's the question, Adrian. I hope you know the answer to this as well.
I probably don't.
Now, how many Rotary International Conventions were held in Toronto? 4. Who said 5? Maureen. That's our winner.
I've talked about working groups, I've talked about some of those committees. The third piece that our club does so well, and you really can't do anything if we don't have this. I know Jayson likes to call it the engine. We don't have this engine. So the engine is all the committees that work behind the scenes and sometimes in front of the scenes. You've got marketing and communications. You've got member engagement. You've got governance. You've got the investment committee. Does anyone know what our collective club and foundation tally is in terms of assets? There you go, almost 24 million. I think Carol was just working on the board minutes. Thanks for getting those done, Carol. It's these committees that keep us going day after day. You've seen the member engagement results. You've seen the Marcom results, the marketing and communications. What you don't necessarily see is the investment committee. What you don't necessarily always see is governance. What you don't necessarily always see is the board and the executive and the foundation board. And they work tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that this club that's 110 years old continues on for another 110 years and beyond. I would like to ask anyone who is in the room and part of the foundation board, part of the club board, part of the executive, part of our Marcom, part of our governance, part of our member engagement to please stand and be recognized. Oh my gosh. Thank you. There is one, I wouldn't call them a committee, but I would call them more than a committee that I haven't quite thanked yet. And that, you realize it was mentioned earlier that after 92 years, we moved our office. That also happened this year. Well, we're lucky, we're one of the lucky Rotary clubs to have full-time staff. And might I tell you, we would not be where we are if it wasn't for Carol as well as Jayson. When you become president and Jayson will know this, you kind of start to think about it around about this time. A week is pending and you're like, how am I going to do all of this stuff? Well, you got Carol. I thought about it every single week this year. Oh my gosh, there's a meeting coming up. I haven't prepared my notes. It's okay, you've got Carol. I got a board meeting coming up. I haven't even read the minutes yet. And it's in 2 hours. It's okay, you've got Carol. I've got an executive. I know we talked about what's on the agenda, and I know I want to bring up these 3 or 4 things, but I haven't really gotten, deep into it. It's okay. You've got Carol. The foundation board is here. I got to look at my numbers. I got to make sure that I'm up there. I got to present numbers because Rick's going to be asking me about those numbers. And yes, he did ask me about the 4.4. I had to make sure that he saw it before I presented it here. I got Carol. So Carol, a very, very, very special thank you for having my back throughout the year. I know I would not have been able to do this job without you. So thank you again. There's a lot that goes on in governing the club. And it's certainly, as you saw, not a one-person show. It's a team effort. This year, we're at 171, I checked this morning, members, which is amazing. We grew from 154. It is really, really amazing. And we can't do any of this if it's not for our board. So what I'd like to do now is thank our outgoing board members. And for our outgoing board members, first off, I'd like to thank Dawn Marie King, our talent handler. In the first year with the board, she was chair of member engagement and liaison director. And then for the next 2 years, continued on as a member engagement liaison director. Dawn Marie, you were instrumental in not only just creating and shaping the member engagement committee, but you were part of my first team as the original transition team. Before, we used to meet on a weekly basis for 3-4 hours. Prior to that, Dawn Marie, Annie Sandra, and 2 members that have left the club now and gone to another club were part of that original team. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Dawn Marie. Blair Spinney stepped into his 2-year role to replace Lorna Johnson, one of the members who was also part of that original transition team. When she left the board, first, Blair was an LD for international services, and then he took on the task of the LD for community outreach. Thank you, Blair. John Joseph Mastandrea, who's presiding over another Pride event today. That's why he sent his regrets. He really wanted to be here. Took on as a 1-year role as an LD for marketing and communications when Annie Sandra, our VP, moved up into that role. Thank you, John Joseph. It's with the board, it's with the executive, it's with the foundation that people are genuinely interested in ensuring that the club and the foundation is not just growing, but we're doing the right thing. And we have debates. We don't just come in and pass any motion. We really are passionate about how to make change and how to impact the organizations and the communities that we serve. So I really, once again, want to thank every single member that has served over the 6 years in the board, in the foundation, or as an executive with me. Thank you again. As I get into a very special and final segment of today, I'd like to invite, are you ready for this, Jay? I'd like to invite incoming president, Jayson Phelps, to come on over and take the presidential oath.
Thanks, Prince. I look forward to Carol keeping me in line next year and helping me with notes for this. Wow, we're here. It's amazing. 3 years ago, it seemed so long, and now today's the day. So the presidential oath. I, Jayson Phelps, as president of the Rotary Club of Toronto, will, to the best of my ability, administer the duties of the office of the president in a business-like manner and in accordance with the club's constitution and bylaws.
Jayson?
Stab me.
I'll try not to. Don't stab me. This pin.
Yeah, I'm a little worried up here, Carol. Can you help?
I officially present the new president of the Rotary Club of Toronto.
Well, here we are. We start the new Rotary year officially today. I will be brief. We've been a little long today on our agenda, and you will hear lots from me over the next 1 year, obviously. My first order of business is actually to pass the agenda over to past President John Fortney to say a few words of wisdom to our outgoing president.
Thank you, President Jayson.
I only found out last night that after 23 changeovers, you think I'd know that I'd have to be up here and say something. And I was worried I'd followed the theme of black and white. I've never been at a head table in 23 years, not in a suit. I was just struggling. That's a John struggle. Anyways, this is a really exciting day. I have to say, congratulations, Jayson. You have done well, Grasshopper. It's kind of cool when your best friend that you met in Rotary becomes president, takes over just after you. It's really quite an amazing, it's really cool for me, I have to say, and I know for everybody else, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Now,
Words are for Prince.
No, I said I had to say something to you first. Carol's words. President Prince, past President Prince. Words of wisdom. Well, this club for 110 years, one president follows another. Every year we do great things, we do interesting things. Some things don't work, some things do work. The club always goes along. You're only one of 3 presidents that had to deal with COVID. You are probably the first president, probably in our 110 years, that had to work with a brand new structure, a whole new club, effectively. Now, of course, you being the architect was kind of easy, or easier, but you handled it amazingly well and with such energy. And I think the goal of the president is to keep the club at least going for another year. You have made it stronger, you have made it young and vibrant, and it works well for 2022 and beyond. And we're very, very lucky to have had you at the helm. To quote the immortal Jeffrey Johnson, there's always the right president for the right time. And for this year, it was you, and you were everything that we needed at this time. And I want to really thank you. One thing that you're going to notice is you were going 1,000 miles a minute for the last year, or for you for the last 2 or 3 years. Tomorrow, you'll slow to 0 miles an hour. You will have nothing to do, and you're going to want to phone Carol every 20 minutes. You're going to be, and Carol will forget to take you off the list for the board meetings, and you'll go, I'm not on the board, am I? So you'll have nothing to do. So remembering how you started the year, I have a little something for you for your retirement. Yes, please. Last year at at our retreat, each of us was given a hand-grown tomato plant from Prince to nurture for the year. It was organic. This is organic. The seeds were planted St. Patrick's Day. And this, you become a gentleman farmer. You can raise great tomatoes and bring them to Rotary. There you go. You have something to do now. Now back to the official club stuff. All right, Jayson, I believe you have a package for past President Prince. Read the note.
Sorry, Prince, supply chain issues. Presented to John Fortney. Yours is coming. But I do like it. Oh, I get a pin as well. Oh, I get a diamond pin. Another one. Another sticky note, maybe? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I like it. Thank you. Who's coming up with dinner tonight?
I just want to say one last thing too, Prince. Being president of this club, which many in this room will consider to be the greatest Rotary club in the world, you're going to take this year with you wherever you go, whether you're doing some work with the district or beyond. This is something that's going to sit with you for the rest of your life. Everything you do is going to be based on what you did this year, and you'll never forget it.
Thank you.
Past President John, thank you very much. Well, this is bound to get smoother as the year goes on.
Stand up.
Or it might not get smoother. John, you didn't scroll the agenda. All right, so moving on with the agenda, we are coming to a close. I understand that I have a speech to give. Not today. So in 2 weeks, we will be back on July the 8th. And between now and then, I will put some words together. We will also be starting with a new summer format for Rotary. So more to come on that over the next few weeks. But we are, of course, going to be continuing with our in-person format at the National Club, aka Bill's Place. And I hope to see all of you here. At such time, I'll certainly talk about our vision for the leadership team and for the club for the incoming year. And I think that pretty much ends my duties. I'm going to pass it back to our MC, Andy.
Thank you very much, Jayson. We're going to have a lot of fun this year, aren't we? Okay, so we have one final and the grandest of all door prizes, which is the boat cruise for two that will last for 2 hours. And Adrian, you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Hello again. So now we have changed skippers and you've endured our 3-hour tour. Now we have this grand boat prize, which again is a exclusive tour of Toronto Harbor. It's hosted by Rotary member Captain James Statham. Should have worn my glasses. It's for a small group of up to 4 people and perfect for a date night or special event. And it lasts 2 hours. And this will be on the Boston Whaler 17 Montauk. So we're going to have a little quick trivia. So if you don't get the first one, I have a backup one. If you don't get both of them, you shouldn't be in Rotary. So the first question is, what was Rotary's first service project in history, ever?
Chicago. John.
Okay, John's our winner. Come on up.
So we're going to go ahead and close our meeting. You guys have endured a lot, have been very patient, and we thank you for that. Jayson, you want to take it over?
Sure. So at this point it says, Jayson, add your own special touch. There it is. Folks. And we're off. Ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to next year. This meeting is now adjourned, and I'm going to hand it back to Andy for something, I suppose.
Right. So this is also, we also have this dance floor for everybody so we can get dancing. It's Friday evening. If you have to go back to work, don't. And you can spend the rest of the evening with us. DJ, cue up our music, please. Thank you very much for joining us.